Chosen one, listen carefully. This is not a coincidence. You are here because God is calling you to remember something powerful, something that has been hidden deep within your soul. There was a moment in your childhood, a forgotten memory, a small but profound experience that holds the key to your destiny. At the time, it may have seemed insignificant, but God is revealing to you now that it was a sign, a glimpse into the purpose He designed for you before you even took your first breath. Take a deep breath. Let your mind go back. There was something about you, even as a child, that made you different. Maybe you felt things more deeply than others. Maybe you knew things before they happened. Maybe you always carried a sense of purpose, even if you didn't understand it. That was God speaking to you. That was proof that you were chosen. And now, God is saying, it is time to remember. Because once you recall this moment, everything will begin to make sense. Are you ready to uncover the forgotten sign that holds your destiny? Chosen one, your life has never been random. From the very beginning, God placed His hand upon you, guiding you through moments that were designed to reveal your divine purpose. But somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten. The weight of the world, the struggles, the disappointments, and the doubts, they clouded what was once so clear. But God has not forgotten. And today, He is bringing something back to your remembrance. A childhood moment that proves you were chosen. Think back. Have you ever felt like you saw the world differently than those around you? Have you ever wondered why certain events in your life seem to hold a deeper meaning? That is because they did. Nothing in your life has been accidental. Somewhere in your early years, God gave you a glimpse of who you were meant to become. Maybe it was a dream so vivid that it stayed with you for years, whispering of something greater. Maybe it was an unexplainable experience, a moment of protection when danger was near, a time when you felt an overwhelming presence guiding you, or a mysterious sign that only you noticed. Maybe it was an unusual act of courage, standing up for someone when no one else would, speaking words of wisdom beyond your years, feeling emotions so deeply that they shaped the way you viewed the world. Maybe you were drawn to things that others didn't understand, a fascination with spiritual things, a hunger for truth, a sense of knowing that there was something more to life than what was seen. That was God speaking. That was the first sign that you were set apart. But here's what you must understand. The enemy has always known who you are. He saw it even before you did. That is why you faced struggles that others didn't. That is why you felt misunderstood, isolated, different. That is why people around you sometimes treated you unfairly, why doors seemed to close when you least expected it, why you felt an unseen force working against you. Because the enemy feared who you would become. The enemy has been trying to make you forget, to forget your purpose, to forget your calling, to forget the truth that was planted inside of you since childhood. He used distractions, hardships, betrayals, and even your own self-doubt to keep you from remembering what God showed you long ago. But now, God is revealing the truth. He is lifting the veil, showing you that everything you experienced, every challenge, every gift, every moment of deep intuition, was preparing you for the calling that has been on your life since birth. Think back, chosen one. What did God show you as a child? What gift did He place in you that the world tried to suppress? It is time to remember, because your destiny depends on it. The signs have always been there. They were never coincidences. They were markers of the path that God set before you. And now, God is saying, recall what I have shown you, and you will find your way. And the question now is, are you ready to remember? Chosen one, God is calling you to remember, because within that forgotten memory lies the blueprint for your destiny. He has been speaking to you since the beginning, using moments from your childhood as clues to reveal who you truly are. But the world, the pain, and the distractions of life have caused you to forget. Now, He is awakening that memory, bringing it back to the surface, because the time has come for you to walk fully in your purpose. Think back to when you were a child. There were moments, quiet, powerful moments, when you felt different. Maybe you couldn't explain it, but something inside of you knew that you were set apart. You were sensitive to things that others overlooked. Maybe you noticed shifts in the atmosphere, felt emotions deeply, or had insights that no one else understood. Have you ever wondered why you always felt things so deeply? Why you were drawn to certain things? Why you had an unshakable sense that there was more to life than what people around you seemed to recognize? That wasn't just your imagination. That was God showing you glimpses of what was already inside you. But what happens when a child carries a divine calling? The enemy sees it too, and from a young age, he does everything in his power to make sure you forget. Maybe you faced rejection from friends, from family, from the very people who should have supported you. Maybe you were made to feel like an outcast, like you didn't belong, like there was something wrong with you for being different. Maybe you carried wounds that still linger today, wounds that whisper lies, telling you that you are not chosen, that you are not special, that you are not meant for anything greater. But those were all attacks to make you forget who you are. The enemy knew that if he could make you question yourself, if he could make you doubt your worth, you would never step into the fullness of what God planned for you. But now, God is breaking the silence. He is pulling back the curtain, revealing what has been hidden, and calling you to remember. Think about the moments when you felt the presence of something greater than yourself. The times when you just knew something was about to happen before it did. The moments when you felt like an invisible hand was guiding you. The dreams that felt so real, they stayed with you long after you woke up. These were not coincidences. These were not just childhood thoughts. These were divine encounters, messages from heaven, preparing you for the moment you are stepping into right now. And here is what you need to know. That gift, that intuition, that calling, it never left you. It has been waiting, hidden beneath the layers of life, ready to be uncovered. And now is the time. Chosen one, God is saying to you, remember, because once you remember, everything will change. Chosen one, the memories that shaped you, the moments you may have overlooked, are not just distant echoes of the past. They are the foundation of your divine calling. From an early age, God placed a gift inside of you, a sensitivity, an intuition, an ability to see beyond the surface. But the world was not always kind to those who carry divine favor. Maybe you were told you were too much, too sensitive, or too different. Maybe the very things that made you unique became the reasons others misunderstood you. But let me tell you this, every great person in the Bible, every prophet, every leader, every warrior was set apart from birth. And with that calling came opposition. Think of Joseph, a young dreamer who saw visions of his future, yet he was thrown into a pit by his own brothers. Why? Because the enemy recognized the power in his gift before Joseph even understood it himself. Think of Moses, who was saved as a child and raised in Pharaoh's house, set apart for a purpose far greater than he imagined. He didn't see it then, but God had already chosen him. And now, God is showing you that you too have been marked since birth. Think back to a childhood moment, perhaps a small, quiet experience that seemed unimportant at the time, a moment when something inside of you stirred. Maybe it was a dream that felt more real than life itself. Maybe it was a time when you spoke words beyond your years, or when you felt an overwhelming sense of peace and protection, even in the midst of chaos. That was God. That was His voice. That was His confirmation that you were never just ordinary. But life happened. The trials, the betrayals, the distractions, they all tried to make you forget. The enemy knew that if you ever fully stepped into your divine calling, you would be unstoppable. And so he tried to bury it under fear, under discouragement, under a world that does not understand the chosen ones. But what is hidden is not lost. God is bringing it back to the surface. He is stirring the memories, awakening the dreams, reigniting the fire that has always been inside you. Chosen one, listen closely. This is your moment of revelation. The time for questioning is over. The time for doubting is finished. God is saying, look back and see the signs I have placed before you. And as you remember, you will realize that you have always been walking toward your destiny. Chosen one, there is something God placed inside of you long ago, something sacred, something powerful. You may not have recognized it at the time, but it was there. A gift, a calling, a divine spark that set you apart from the very beginning. Perhaps you have felt it all your life. That deep, unshakable sense that you were meant for something more. A feeling that no matter how much the world tried to silence you, your spirit knew there was a greater purpose waiting to be revealed. That feeling was not your imagination. It was God whispering to you. It was divine confirmation that you were chosen. But the enemy saw it too. And so he tried to break you before you ever had the chance to rise. Maybe you experienced rejection at a young age. You tried to fit in, but no matter how hard you tried, you always felt different. Maybe people dismissed you, ridiculed you, or made you feel like an outsider. Maybe even your own family didn't understand you, and you carried the weight of that isolation in silence. But what if I told you that was proof that you were chosen? Think about the greatest figures in the Bible. Moses, Joseph, David, even Jesus himself. All of them were rejected before they were exalted. They faced trials, loneliness, and betrayal, not because they were unworthy, but because God was preparing them for something greater. And the same is true for you. Everything you have faced, the struggles, the heartbreak, the setbacks, was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you. Because deep down, you always knew you were different. Maybe as a child, you had an unusual sense of wisdom, an ability to see through people's words and into their hearts. Maybe you had dreams, visions that felt too real to ignore. Maybe you felt connected to something higher, something greater, long before you had the words to explain it. That was not a coincidence. It was a sign that God had already placed a divine mission within you, a sign that the world tried to bury, but God is now uncovering. Chosen one, it is time to reclaim what was always yours. It is time to look back, to remember, to embrace the truth of who you have always been. Because the moment you do, everything in your life will begin to change. Chosen one, the moment you remember, the moment you reclaim what was lost, your entire life will begin to shift. Because God is not just calling you to reflect on the past. He is calling you to step into the future that has always been waiting for you. There was a time when you trusted in the visions, the dreams, the gifts He gave you, before the world told you to doubt, before the enemy tried to silence you, before life's struggles made you forget. But now, God is speaking louder than ever. I never left you. I never took your gift away. I have been waiting for you to see what was always inside you. Maybe as a child, you felt things deeply. emotions, energy, the spiritual atmosphere around you. Maybe you sensed when things were about to happen, when people were hurting, or when something was shifting in the unseen. The world may have called you sensitive, different, or even strange, but God was developing a gift of discernment inside you. Maybe you had a love for helping others, even when you were too young to understand why. Maybe you had wisdom that others couldn't explain, insights that went beyond your years. That was not just your personality. It was divine preparation. Maybe you had a dream, a recurring vision that never truly left you, a moment of divine clarity, a time when God whispered something to you, something that, even as a child, you knew was significant. But then life happened. You dismissed it. You told yourself it was just a thought. But it wasn't. That moment was sacred. That dream was a glimpse of your calling. And now, God is bringing it back to you, because He never speaks without purpose. Every moment of revelation, every childhood vision, every unexplainable encounter, it all meant something. It was all preparing you for this very season. But here is the question: will you embrace it now? Because the enemy has tried to keep you in the dark. He has tried to make you believe that your gifts are gone, that your purpose is out of reach. But the enemy is a liar. The gifts of God are irrevocable. What He placed inside of you cannot be stolen, cannot be erased, cannot be lost. Chosen one, God is awakening you. He is clearing away the fog, restoring what has been buried, bringing clarity where there was once confusion. And the moment you remember, the moment you fully accept what God placed inside of you from the beginning, your destiny will begin to unfold in ways you never imagined. The memories, the gifts, the purpose that once seemed distant will suddenly feel undeniable. You will see the patterns, the signs, the divine orchestration of every step that led you here. And when you do, nothing will ever be the same. Chosen one, this is your moment of awakening. You have felt the pull in your spirit. You have sensed that something was about to change. And now, God is making it clear. He is calling you to remember, to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. The time for doubting is over. The time for waiting is finished. Everything you have been through, every challenge, every tear, every unanswered question, it has all been leading to this. God is saying, now is the time. You must reclaim what has always been yours. The gifts, the purpose, the calling that was placed inside of you before you were even born. You must remember. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Ask God to bring back the memory, the dream, the moment that first revealed your destiny. Ask Him to remove the veil, to bring clarity, to confirm what has been stirring in your heart. And when He does, when the memory comes rushing back, when the vision becomes clear, when the deep knowing floods your soul, do not push it away. Do not doubt it. Do not silence what God is revealing to you, because this is not just a message. This is a divine appointment. You are not hearing this by accident. You were led here because your spirit already knew the truth. And now, God is waiting for your response. If you are ready to step into your destiny, declare it now. Speak it aloud. Write it down. Type it in the comments below. Say, I remember, and I accept my calling. Let it be a public confirmation that you are stepping into the next level of your purpose. Because the moment you acknowledge it, the shift will begin. Doors will open. Strength will rise. Clarity will flood your spirit. And nothing will ever be the same again. God has been waiting for you to remember. Now, He is waiting for you to step forward. Chosen one, The moment you remember, the moment you accept the truth of who you are, everything will begin to align. Because this is not just about recalling a childhood memory. This is about stepping into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. The moment you embrace what God has placed inside of you, doors will open that no man can shut. The struggles that once weighed you down will no longer have power over you. The confusion that clouded your path will fade away. Because when God reveals, He also equips. When He reminds you of who you are, He gives you the strength to walk in it. And here's what you must understand. The moment you say yes to God's calling, you become unstoppable. No force in hell, no opinion of man, no mistake from your past can stand against the purpose God has placed on your life. Because what He starts, He always finishes. And He is finishing something in you right now. This is the season of restoration. The gifts that were forgotten are being revived. The dreams that were buried are coming back to life. The doors that were closed are swinging open. Because you are no longer asleep to your calling. You are waking up to it. And as you move forward, expect transformation. Expect divine connections. Expect breakthroughs. Expect a shift so undeniable that even those around you will see it. Because God is not just calling you to remember. He is calling you to rise. And this time, nothing will hold you back. Chosen one, if this message has spoken to you, if something deep within you is stirring, do not ignore it. This is not just another moment. This is a divine confirmation that God is speaking directly to you. Let your voice be heard. Declare it in the comments below. I remember, and I accept my calling. Let this be your public confirmation, your step of faith, your way of saying to God, I am ready. And if you feel led, share this message with someone who needs it. Someone who has been searching, someone who has felt lost, someone who needs to remember who they are. Because when the chosen ones rise, they awaken others. Stay connected, stay expectant, and most of all, stay open to what God is about to reveal next. This is only the beginning. Your destiny is unfolding now.